My name is Chris Siegel. I'm the executive editor of the Kinston Free Press. This morning we're sitting down with Mayor Dontero Hardy here in Kinston, and we're just having a conversation about what's kind of going on in the city. We ask if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section, and we'll try to get them to Mayor Hardy here. Hopefully that was your Facebook page saying that we're live right now.
Yes, sir.
So thanks for being with us this morning. We appreciate it.
Yeah, good. It's good to be here this morning, and I'm just trying to get a few things cut down or cut off at the moment so that we won't be dinging the whole time.
I'm gonna have that same problem here any minute.
Yeah. So that's my only thing right thus far. But it's good to be here this morning. It's early, and you see my good friend Chris Siegel here from the Free Press has got me up so early this morning. Got me here down to City Hall, but it's all good. It's for a good reason.
So are you a night owl? I mean, I know you work overnights a lot at the hospital. So
yeah.
How does that work, being mayor, and being a father, and doing all this community stuff, and having kind of a non-traditional schedule?
Well, now I kind of have I guess you would call it a traditional schedule. So I work during the days now. So I'm actually a lot better. I'm actually alive walking versus sleepwalking. You understand? So, but I'm doing a lot better. It's going good. I'm able to be here with the city and see a lot of our businesses, to walk in and talk to folks during the day now since I'm on the day shift schedule.
That's great news. So it's been, over a year since you were sworn into office?
Not quite. It feels like a year plus, but it hasn't. It's been about, 7, 8 months, something like that.
It feels way longer than that. But
yeah.
So talk to us about, your first year in office, of how that's going, what you're kind of learning, what you're seeing.
Yeah. So, people ask me, say, well, what it was, was it what you expected? And I say, well, it's probably more, more than what I expected, but it's a lot. It's a lot going on. In the first 7, 8 months, it's what you would call a learning curve. Also, it's a lot of learning and figuring out how the city operates for the most part, and local government. But it's going really great. It's going in the forward direction, and as our city seal says, that forward and prosperity. That's the thing that we work on constantly every day, trying to figure out what we can do to work together and to bring our community together to make it even better. That unity in the community piece is really what we need.
So, in your opinion, and what you've seen, and how long you've lived here, what does community mean to you, and how do we bring community together? Does that mean just going and having coffee together every so often, not just being on social media and talking trash about each other? I mean,
right.
what's that? I mean, part of this, what we're doing now, is to have conversations with people, get people involved. So,
right.
What's your perspective and take on that?
All right, so when I say unity within the community, that means bringing the community together to do different things, such as even the police chief side, fire, doing special events in the community, bringing community together. Such as what we had last night, National Night Out. Of course, it's a national event, but
I'm glad you hit on that.
That brings the that brings the community together and see what we have to to offer. Let them know that we're here, we're human as well, and we're able to work together on some things, be able to socialize and talk about the things going on in our community, and I think that's the most important thing. The more events like that we have together, the more community policing that we do, the more door-to-door that we do is a positive, it's a plus, because we get to hear what many folks are saying in their individual communities.
So one of the things that I always admire politicians about, I mean, we have an adversarial relationship at times between media and elected officials, which is fine because we get along.
Right.
But I'm always in awe of the families of elected officials, because they don't put their name on the ballot.
Right.
But they get so involved over the years. We've seen over the years where family members have been dragged through the mud for things that have nothing to do with them, and they wouldn't be otherwise if they weren't.
Right.
So I have a lot of admiration for the family members, and your beautiful wife, Angela. I love seeing her at events. She's the most gracious person. And so how has this been on your family, and how are they coping with it? And
they coping very well. Of course, they see me going a lot, every day, and I try to pull them in as much as possible, and I just explain it to them and say, this is what we're doing, and this is what we have to do, and this is the thing that makes our city, beat, us being in the place, talking and communicating. I say that's the most important thing. This is why I was elected to the seat, you know, is to go out and talk to the community, inform the community about what's going on, supporting whatever they have going on, individual businesses, entrepreneurs, you know, our downtown versus, you know, anywhere throughout the city of Kinston, you know. So I try to, you know, beat that, you know, and say, hey, listen, this is what we have to do, and they understand. They understand that, you know, this is why I was elected to, you know, to serve the vote, serve our people in the city of Kinston.
I've worked in a bunch of different markets and lived in a bunch of different places, and you know, I've seen bad things happen and said about family members. I've had bad things said about me because of my family.
Right.
I always say that the people in Kinston and Livermore County are some of the nicest, best people around, and I've not seen any negative stuff about your family or other families. And so I hope that perception is true. I'm sure there's things that go that you don't want to tell us about, which is fine, but I hope that's true because people are great here, and I know it's hard on families.
It is.
So talk to us about, you know, of course we covered this at the time, this is the first historically all-black city council for Kinston.
Right.
To me, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but that seems progressive. That's a good thing. But then for it being a first in 2017, it seems like we kind of have a ways to go. That was historical at that point. I mean, you think, you know, 1997 that would have been historical, but in 2017. So, you know, what does that mean to you and to your council and to the community?
You know, you voice your, you know, your thoughts, your opinion through your vote for the most part. So it's like, okay, this is what we want to happen. You know, this is who we want to, you know, support. And it's not about being, you know, African American, so to speak. I believe it's about what the person is about, you know. And as a council, and me being the mayor, it is a very, very great thing. We always talk about setting records or making things happen. That's always great. The thing about it is we must not let, you know, just because we're, you know, entirely African American, we must not let that just be us. We must be able to, you know, to work together to get things done. And I do appreciate the fact that we are, and I'm a part of being the African American council and mayor. It's a very great thing, and I do admire, and I take a look at the photo periodically and say, okay, this is very, very good. And the thing is so long as we represent everybody, you know, the same way, then I think we would be great.
That's great. So talk to us a little about your accomplishments you feel like you've had since you've taken office. What are things you've done? What are things you still want to do in your next couple of years and hopefully your next election cycle?
So thus far, you know, I've been able to network with a lot of folks, trying to meet, you know, the folks that I need to meet as far as like DOT and the folks that do the work for some of these contractors out here. The number one thing on the list is the roads. You know, the roads in our city.
You stole my next question.
About roads. so you know, being a part of, you know, getting some of the roads paved is a big deal. You know, seeing, you know, our citizens say, okay, we see you guys are working on the roads. That really means a lot. You know, as a matter of fact, I was coming down Harris Street today, and I seen them working on, I believe it was Darby Avenue, getting ready to resurface that road. So I was excited about that. You know, that part. And then we had a good deal with the Women's Center, that deal there, Kinston Community Center, which is going to be here soon. Kinston Community Center is what we're looking at. Haven't finalized it, but I think that's what it's going to be. It's going to be called probably. That's where we are now. That part. Also being a part of the full progress things that behind the scenes stuff, where I'm on some committees and some boards where we make some decisions that's benefiting the city. I look forward to doing. I'm looking at a Mayor Fellows program that I want to implement here in the city for those that are looking at local government. Whether we can take some interns and they can come over and take a look at how city government operates. In terms of if they want to, you know, if it's credit hours and or, you know, a stipend, however we can get that set up, you know. So I think that's one of the things that's on my list to have done here at the City Hall in Kinston, because I think it's a great thing where you have folks that are, you know, interested in local government, you know, executive assistant type, administrative assistant, you know, programs, or, you know, people like that can actually help push, you know, those special programs, that I want to see done or come into fruition in the city. To include, like, I want to do even what you would call, I guess it's a free clinic, what they call it, where, you know, being able to provide medical assistance to those that need it, you know, those folks that don't have Medicare, Medicaid, anything whatsoever. Being able to be checked, you know, finger pricks, you know, blood pressure checks, et cetera, amount of medications being issued through, you know, those physicians.
Well, so you already have KCHC here in town, which is
Right.
Probably called Health Center, which does some of that. So
They do
you're
some.
talking about doing, in New Bern, there's the Mercy Clinic, which
Right.
is run by doctors, and it's a similar thing where it's an additional free clinic that's another step.
Right.
And all that helps, as you know, the healthcare system of
Right.
keeping people out of the ER.
Right.
where they don't need to be, so that's an important thing.
Yes.
We're getting some questions here on the feed.
Okay.
So the first one's from Charlie Watkins, which is more of a statement than a question, but
Okay.
he said that I would like to compliment our police and fire service for their continued fine performance.
Absolutely. They're doing great, and they're out in the community doing great things. We have a lot of things going on within the police and fire, and, you know, I commend our fire chief, you know, rating that we're having now. We're looking forward to having that #1 rating so that we can lower the insurance, you know, on our homes, which is a great deal. I appreciate our, you know, public service, our fire police, that they're doing great, and we're doing whatever it takes to make the city run like it should, and to help our citizens out in whatever area we can.
So having a law enforcement background, talk to me about your relationship with the chief. How does that work out? Do you find yourself like wanting to get involved in things and stuff and next thing, I probably shouldn't do that, or I'm sure it's a good relationship, but talk to us about it a little bit.
Yeah, you know, you find yourself in situations where you got to pull back because my background is heavily law enforcement for sure, and you know, yeah, I do what I need to do, and then I step out of those situations. But we have a great relationship. Chief James is a great guy. I greatly appreciate him. He's a community oriented guy, and he's out in the community all the time. Along with our fire chief as well. You know, I do find myself in those, you know, situations where I want to actually help out more than I probably should be. But that's just the, you know, that's just the law enforcement.
That's your background.
My background, and you know, and my genuine concern for those out there that need help. So, you know, it's a plus all the way around. So.
Okay. Matthew Young, I'm sure you know from CSS News.
Gentlemen, sorry, let me interrupt for one second. Can we stop for?
Sure.